Thank you for watching. This is Auto Weekly with Charles Benz. And this week we're going to be covering a few different topics, not so much auto, but we're going to do some motorcycle stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of motorcycle stuff in the future here. And a bike in particular that I want to bring to your guys' attention, because I'm really bringing up stuff that I feel is kind of changing the game, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. I'm also going to go over specs. So today we're looking at the Zero motorcycle brand motorcycles. So Zero, as you can see, if you go on zeromotorcycles.com, that's the website I'm using. And I just want to go over what these motorcycles are all about, not to really target this company, but just to give you an overview of what's going to be happening in the future and some positive and negatives to that. So let's take a look at their model line and start to discuss things. So this Zero Motorcycles company has 4 different models. Okay, you have the S, the SR, the DS, the FX, and they all have different purposes. Okay, so the Zero S is a street fighter. It gets 171 mile city range. And oh yeah, maybe I forgot to mention, these are all electric motorcycles. That's right. So you plug them in and they use an electric motor and a battery. No gas. And I know some of you guys are thinking, that's crazy, I wouldn't trust it. And I was kind of under the same idea, and I want to go over that because there's a lot that goes into this. But let's go over the specs, and we'll start to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing in a little bit. So this thing gets up to 171 miles in city range on one charge. Has 54 horsepower, 68 foot-pounds of torque, and gets 95, or has a 95 mile an hour top speed. The SR Max Performance goes the same range, a little bit more horsepower, quite a bit more torque at 106 foot-pounds, and gets 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. So this thing's by no means a slow bike. It's extremely quick. Then you have the Dual Sport, the DS. Okay, very simple lettering on that. Gets 158 mile range, 54 horsepower, 68 foot-pounds of torque, goes 98 miles an hour. Alright, and then we got the Street Fighter, same situation. They're all very close in performance, you know, with little variation. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, how are these things as tough as a regular dirt bike or a regular motorcycle? And what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Well, let's go just click on their little advantages link. And it gives you a little pricing chart. First, we'll look at that. So your price on these, which we'll get into that in a second, it's about $14,000. So they're not cheap, you know. And of course, we're going to see that price go down over time. You can definitely get a nice gas-powered motorcycle for anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000. You know, a nice one that's going to do the job. You want to get a little more premium, then yeah, you're looking at $10,000, $14,000, maybe even $20-something thousand. But this gets it right along the okay price range. Okay, so what it's explaining here is that at a certain point, by using a conventional gas-powered motorcycle, you might be able to save money initially, but you know, through gas costs, you're going to eventually reach a point where that initial investment that was a little higher with the electric is going to even out, and you're going to get savings over the long run compared to a gas-powered motorcycle. Now, you're thinking, well, how long does this thing run? And that's the crazy thing that we're going to get into a second, and it runs a long time. Has zero maintenance powertrain. You can see it's a belt-driven motorcycle. It just requires, it says maintenance-free, entirely maintenance-free. I feel like you need to lube some stuff up here and there, but that's regardless. It uses a brushless motor. So it's pretty much silent, completely silent. You're going to hear the tire hitting the pavement and maybe some the belt going around the gears and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's very quiet. Okay, so you know, it then shows you the 15 things you'll never do again. All these different, you know, valve clearance, oil, yada yada yada. But I think the crazy thing is, I want to show you guys the length that this thing will go. Okay, internet's running a little bit slow. I apologize. Okay, the cool thing is using an electric motor, it's going to give you instantaneous power. Okay, it's not like with a conventional gas-powered engine, you need to hit certain RPMs. You have different power throughout that RPMs, different torque delivery throughout there. So normally maybe like 5,000 RPMs going to give you your maximum amount of horsepower. With this, it's automatically just gives you that power. Then you have additional battery packs here that they call power tanks, so you can add a higher power tank, so you can boost it, give yourself an additional 2.8 kilowatts. Yeah, so you can go into this. It gives you, more range, obviously. Now this is kind of cool too. You can customize your phone or customize your motorcycle with your phone. Okay, it has a little app, so you can tune it to have more performance or less performance depending on what you're doing. So it can go, maybe better on battery usage, a little bit more performance-wise, all that kind of stuff. So that's really interesting. It gives you riding statistics. It helps diagnose things, and it's really an interesting little move on their part. And they have it for, I believe it's for the iPhone and Android using Bluetooth. Okay, so you can adjust your acceleration, top speed, and regenerative braking. And if you don't know what regenerative braking is, when you're braking, it's sending power back through to help recharge the motor, or recharge the battery packs, excuse me. So you have this power pack, and this is the craziest thing, okay? A typical 0S and 0DS can travel well over 200,000 miles before hitting 80% capacity. So that battery can go 200,000 miles before it actually loses 20% of its life. Okay, so these things are really made to run. It's pretty amazing. And then you have the 100% modular swap out. So Zero Motorcycles is the first electric motorcycle to feature hot swappable modules. It can be ridden using either one or two Z-Force modules. A module can be added or removed in less than a minute, which is really cool, and it's fully recyclable, so it's green. And then you actually get a tax incentive too, which is pretty cool. Pretty much just takes away your taxes on it. So you can see the 0S and DS 15.9, little steep. 0S and DS, and you see 13, the FX9, XU7. You have your older models here. Now your tax credit, that's pretty much reducing the amount of taxes on the initial purchase. So I wouldn't get too hyped on that, but it is nice. So, okay, they say they're tough. They say they don't need any maintenance. They say, there's all these advantages. And one more thing I want to throw in there is that they're targeting having like police officers on here, which could be an interesting little method here, because now you can't hear anybody sneaking up on you. All of a sudden you have this cop coming up on you on an electric motorcycle. So, what are the disadvantages? Of course, disadvantage being you can't just go to a gas station, refuel, and keep riding. So riding this thing cross-country, you're going to need places to recharge your bike. You can only go 171 miles without having another battery pack or recharging it. So there are disadvantages, for sure. And they're more expensive, yes. And then one in particular. This one would probably get to me and some other, serious motorcycle enthusiasts a lot. And that's that we're losing, going with one of these, you lose that motorcycle sound and feel. And do I want to say that it's all about the sound or all about the feel of that motor or that engine revving up to high RPMs, controlling it with the clutch and all these cool things that which, this thing's going to have a clutch too, or whatever it has, CVT transmission. I don't really know. I don't think it went into that too much. But, yeah, you can have fun with it, pop wheelies, do endos, whatever you're trying to do, that's cool. But, it's almost like you lose the heart and soul of the motorcycle. And I think that's a big deal for some riders. And that's why I think it's going to take a long time before we really see it. People going in and being super interested in these bikes. But what I think a lot of people are going to be interested in are, being able to commute places quickly, and being able to use HOV lanes if you live in an area that uses HOV lanes. On a bike that doesn't use gasoline, maybe you feel good about the fact you're saving, reducing emissions. If you had it hooked up where solar panels are charging it, that's a cool advantage. There's a lot of fun. One other thing I could say as being a cool thing is you might see in the future, especially, these little motorcycle races going down with electric motorcycles, but being pretty much completely quiet, which is crazy to me. You're going to have races going down, in the future, because obviously these are about the same speed and stuff like that, but when we have more competitive models, because I feel like eventually they're going to say no more gasoline. You have to get one of these. We're going to see maybe a hybrid bike or just more all electric bikes, and these silent races. But a disadvantage to riding a silent bike on the road: motorists can't hear you. They don't know you're there. You're just sneaking up. And it's cool for trail riding. Maybe you're trail riding somewhere at night. You don't want to bother people or whatever. It's a cool thing. Extremely stealthy. You have these the electric advantage they're trying to push on the police, like I was saying. So, something to look out for, something to be aware of, and I feel like things are headed that way. Do I really want them to? No. I mean, I'm a motorcycle enthusiast. I like the sound of engines revving up. I love burning fuel. I love ripping around on motorcycles. I know it's not awesome for the environment, but and so there we stand. So tell me what you think and comment below, and I'll be getting some more interesting videos up. I'm going to be getting some motorcycle videos up here in the future, and definitely obviously more automotive videos up talking about various topics and getting you guys tuned in on some important stuff. And I always appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video if you liked it. As always, I'm Charles Benson. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.